Hello, my friends. Today we will draw a beautiful village. I will show you how to do it step by step. Let's get started. First of all, let's take a look at our sample picture. It is a nice little village on the hill with a few houses, trees, and a road. First of all, I'll draw a sketch, then I'll fill in the background, and then add some light effects. The most important thing about this sketch is to find the right spot for the houses, so that they are not too close to each other. By the way, I got this idea from one of your comments. Thanks a lot. So if you have any ideas or suggestions, write them down in the comments section below. I'll read them all. Let's start with the sky. It is quite simple. We need only two colors, blue and white. Start from the top of the sky and paint in the blue color. And don't forget to paint over the edges of the paper, because the clouds may be there. Okay, now let's add some white clouds using a smaller brush. Be sure to leave some space between the clouds. You can even draw them bigger, like it's summer. Now, let's make the clouds a bit softer by lowering the opacity. Also, we can add some very light blue lines. They symbolize the blue sky that peeks through the clouds. Now let's draw the ground. It will be much more complicated than the sky. First of all, I'll add the base color. Take a soft brush and paint the field. Remember to paint over the edge of the paper. This will make your drawing look more realistic. As you can see, the edge of the paper is visible in the photo, and I want to keep it that way. The sun is shining brightly, so the shadows are not that strong. Just a couple of lines to show where the shadow of the clouds fall on the field. Now we can add some dark green grass. Don't press hard on the pen. The lines should be soft and smooth. Also, I recommend using a slightly larger brush here. Here's another trick for you. You click on the plus button on the palette, you can add a new color and then fill in the selection. This is what I did here. Now it's easier to paint the grass. Don't forget the edges. Of course, no field without a fence. It gets quite simple. Just create a new layer. Select the lasso tool and draw along the edges of the field. Select the brush again. Choose a brown color and make a couple of lines. Of course, the sun will also cast a shadow on the grass, but it won't be a dark shadow. It's more like a bluish tint. Very carefully and gently add some blue. Make sure you don't cover the white spots from the clouds. Blue should be almost transparent. Next up is the hill in the background. Create a new layer and select the airbrush. The cool thing about this tool is that the color transitions smoothly and doesn't have clear boundaries. Choose a dark green color and add the first green stripe. Then lighten the color a bit and add another one. And then once again, and one more time. Then pick a lighter green color and repeat everything that I just said. One more green stripe a little higher. One more time and the last one. Then take the lasso tool and remove the extra lines. As you can see, the green blends perfectly on the dark green grass. It's time to move on to the houses. I think we should start with the one in the foreground. I'll select the rectangular marquee tool and draw a frame for the house. Then take the zoom tool and zoom in to work more accurately. Fill the house with a light yellow color. Next, create a new layer for the roof and select the freehand tool. Draw the roof, trying to keep it symmetrical. You don't need to be very accurate at this stage. Just place it approximately in the right spot. Pick a reddish color and paint the roof. Pay attention to the edges. Be sure to paint them over. After that, we can add some shadow under the roof. Select the brush, choose a darker color, and make the lines along the edge of the roof. The lines should be soft and smooth. Check out the result. It looks pretty good. The next step is to make the house more detailed. To do this, create a new layer, select the airbrush, and choose a darker yellow color. And now, just lightly draw over the lines of the house. Do the same with the roof. Only now, we need a lighter red color. It's almost done with the house. Now we need to add some white dots on the roof. Create a new layer. Select the polygonal lasso tool and select the upper part of the roof. Then press C to copy the selection. Go back to the layer with the roof and press C. Press C to paste the selection. Now just add some white dots inside the selected area. And go to the layer with the yellow house and repeat these steps. It turns out great. It's time to add some shadow from the house on the ground. Select the elliptical marquee tool and make a selection around the bottom of the house. Then take the brush, reduce its size, and add some shadow on the ground. As I said before, the shadow here will be quite light. It's just a little bit to show that it's there. Let's move on to the roof of the house. Take the airbrush again and add some dark green stripes. The lines shouldn't be straight. Look at the sample picture. they should be a bit chaotic, odd about 3 to 5 lines. Then create a new layer. Select the brush and add some small white dots. Try to place them randomly. Let's move on to the tree on the left side of the house. Select the elliptical marquee tool and make a selection around the tree. Then take the zoom tool and zoom in. It's much easier to work with small details here. Choose a brown color and paint over the trunk of the tree. Then lighten the color a bit and add the branches of the tree. Use the lasso tool to remove the excess line. After that, create a new layer. Make the selection and add the leaves of the tree using the airbrush. The lines here should be a bit chaotic. Now, you can see what it looks like. It's pretty good. And now, we can move on to the second house. Everything here is exactly the same as with the first house. Only now we need to add a little more shadow on the ground, because this house is closer to the hill. Also, the roof will be a little darker. When you finish with the roof, add some shadow from the roof to the ground. And when you finish with that, add some shadow from the house to the ground. And finally, let's draw the last house. This one is a little more complicated. First of all, we need to draw the balcony. Select the polygonal lasso tool and make a rough selection of the balcony. Then take the brush, reduce its size, and add a couple of lines on the balcony. Then make a selection of the roof and add some red paint. Then make a selection of the walls and add some yellow paint. Then make a selection of the window and add some white paint. And finally, add a couple of white lines on the balcony. That's it. We're done with the houses. Now we can add some shadows from the houses on the ground. To do this, hold down the Shift key and click on the new layer icon to create a copy of the first layer with the houses. Name it Shadow and move it down. Then select the polygonal lasso tool and select the bottom of the houses. Press Ctrl+C to copy the selection and go to the background. Layers Show +V2, paste the selection and add some dark gray shadow. The final step is adding some light effects. Create a new layer and select the airbrush. Set the flow to about 5% and the opacity to about 20%. Then choose a bright yellow color and add some spots on the ground. Then change the color to a bright blue and add some more spots. The last color is white. Make sure you don't overdo it with the white color. It's a couple of spots is enough. That's it. The drawing is ready. I hope you liked it. Write down in the comments below what you think about it and put likes, and see you in the next video.